campus. Big shot, big time, big dreams, big plans. You need the biggest, the baddest, the best of everything. Well, you know, honestly, a cell phone's not going to make you a big shot. That's got to come from inside. But if you want the biggest, the baddest, the best cell phone you can get, I've got 3 of today's top options for you, and that's what we're here for. Number 1, it's the HTC Touch Diamond. Let me get you back to that home screen because that's what you want to see. HTC Touch Diamond is a Windows Mobile 6.1 smartphone. It's got the HTC Touch Flow 3D. This is the unlocked version, but we're soon going to see versions on US carriers. I can just feel it any day now. This, of course, is the Apple iPhone 3G on AT&T. It's Apple's proprietary operating system, now backed by the application store, all kinds of third-party functionality, etc., etc. You know all about the iPhone. And this is the Samsung Omnia. Wi-Fi. It's got 3G, doesn't work in the US yet. 5-megapixel camera with a flash. Windows 6.1. It's got a custom UI on top, kind of like the Touch Flow 3D on the HTC. It's got both, check this out, it's got both a touchscreen and this crazy optical mouse on the bottom that you can move around with your thumb. It's nuts. Here they are. Big ballers, big shots, big time. 3 smartphones, 3 beasts, 3 big baddies. I can't think of things to say. 3 top-of-the-line smartphones. Which one is right for you? Are any of them right for you? I don't know. Let's take a look. All right, so left to right, HTC Touch Diamond, Samsung Omnia, Apple iPhone 3G. Let's talk about what's similar. Let's talk about what's different between these 3 smartphones. Similar. First, you can tell they're all full touchscreen phones, or they're all touchscreen-based phones. The HTC actually has a few buttons down here on the bottom: home, back, call, cancel, and then this kind of jog dial, touch-sensitive jog dial D-pad thing down here, which both you can touch and then also you can actually press like a button. The Omnia has 2 physical buttons down here on the bottom, along with this really cool optical mouse sensor that I mentioned before. And then iPhone, of course, just has the single button on the bottom. They also both have full touch screens, and these are honestly 3 of the better touch screens that I've had a chance to try. And I've been trying a lot of phones lately, believe me. And I would rank these right up amongst the best. In addition, they all have Wi-Fi connectivity. They all have 3G, although currently only the iPhone has 3G that works in the States. The Touch Diamond, this version of it, is an unlocked GSM phone, so the 3G will only work overseas. There's a lot of talk about the Touch Diamond coming to US carriers very soon. Most probably it'll show up on Sprint before anywhere else. Nothing official on that, but a lot of leaked pictures and documents and such. But this version is GSM only. The Omnia has HSDPA 3G, but it's European Asian spec. So again, this version that I have is limited to Edge in the US. A lot of talk about a version coming to the US sometime soon, possibly on AT&T, we don't really know. And then the iPhone, of course, has 3G because it's the new iPhone 3G. Beyond that, take a look on the back here. Size and shape, they're fairly similar. You can see the Touch Diamond is definitely the smallest of the 3 phones in terms of height and width. The iPhone is the biggest, kind of just barely edging out the Omnia in terms of overall size, height and width. The Omnia is the thickest of the phones. The iPhone 3G is a little bit thinner than the other 2. Part of the perception of it being, it is actually thinner, but it also is perceived as being thinner because of the rounded back. This new trick Apple's using on their MacBook Air and now the iPhone 3G, where the rounded edge makes it feel like it's a little thinner than it actually is. Since we're on the back in terms of features, they all have cameras. The iPhone 3G has a 2-megapixel camera, fixed focus. The Touch Diamond, 3.2 megapixel autofocused, and then the Omnia steps it up, 5 megapixel autofocus with a flash. And as far as other features go, they all have, well, the iPhone doesn't have stereo Bluetooth. It has mono Bluetooth only, as I'm sure you're well aware of by now. The others have stereo Bluetooth. They all have USB connectivity. They all do, like I said, Wi-Fi. The iPhone 3G has a standard headphone jack. The other two use proprietary connectors, which I think is a little bit silly in this day and age, but they just do. You can see on, you can get this open here, the Samsung, it has Samsung's proprietary connector, so it comes with headphone adapter that plugs into here that you can plug standard headphones into. It comes with a charger that plugs into here. It comes with a data cable that goes from this connector to USB. Touch Diamond, similar thing. It's kind of like a mini USB on the bottom, but it's differently shaped, so you can't use a regular mini USB cable on it. It comes with a special HTC one. But you can see from the markings here, USB and headphones. So it comes with a bunch of different adapters, data cable, charger, headphones. So there you go. Otherwise, all the phones have a rocker switch on the side, which controls volume, and in some cases other things as well. The iPhone, minimal number of buttons here. You've got your rocker switch, you've got your silence, your ringer switch there, and then on the top you've got your hold power switch. HTC on the top also has a hold power switch, and nothing else on the other side but those extra buttons in front. Omnia rocker switch, camera switch, shortcut button, and then a lanyard switch on the side. The Omnia comes with 16 gigs of storage on a micro SD card. The Touch Diamond has 4 gigs of internal storage built in, and the iPhone has either 8 or 16 gigs of storage built in. So really all three phones are smartphones, but designed with consumers in mind as well as business users, and heavy multimedia functionality as well. All right, so let's get on to how they actually are to use. They all have touchscreens, and as I said, they're three of the better touchscreens I've had a chance to use. In terms of just the hardware, I would rank them as far as the touchscreen goes. iPhone's the best, the Omnia is second, the Touch Diamond is third. The iPhone, the hardened glass, and the multi-touch, is still just unparalleled. I haven't used anything else like it. The multi-touch, you've seen it a million times, but I'll show it to you again because it's pretty cool. I'll take a picture here, and the GPS. Oh yeah, they all have GPS now as well. The iPhone 3G finally has true GPS. The others do as well. So the iPhone multi-touch functionality lets you zoom in and out by pinching, lets you scroll around, lets you flick through things. It works very well. It's great. The Omnia is the best Samsung touchscreen device that I've used. The touchscreen is better than Instinct, in my opinion, on Omnia, by a healthy margin. So on the front here, we'll get to the OS in a second, but just to show you the actual touchscreen and get a little preview of the OS here, if I go to my photo album and take a look at one of the photos that I looked at, so I can double click, I can touch to go through, I can go full screen, I can zoom using the slider. I was trying to swipe before and it just doesn't recognize swipe, so that's my fault. But if you look at how responsive the slider is here, this is much better than any other Samsung touch phone I've used. Way better than Glide. Better, again, I think, than Instinct. They really did a nice job with the hardware here. The Touch Diamond is no slouch either. So we'll take a look quickly at the TouchFlow 3D interface here, and you've got kind of a menu bar on the bottom of different applications that you can go to. And then you can swipe to go to different, through the menu, and you can swipe through photos. It requires a little bit firmer of a touch than the other two phones, but not by much. It really, HTC did a nice job on this as well. And then it does have some swiping and gesturing functionality also. As far as the screens themselves go, the HTC actually has a full VGA display, 640 by 480. So even though it's the smallest physically of the three, it's the highest resolution. And I mean, they're all really good, but the HTC, when you look at a video, the quality is just really, really sharp. So it's a smaller screen but higher res, and it really, really good to look at if if you don't mind the screen being that small. All right, so we'll go back here and we'll talk a little bit about the user interface. So as mentioned, the HTC and the Omnia are Windows 6.1, Windows Mobile 6.1 phones, but they have a kind of a custom UI built on top. The HTC is a little more comprehensive, the TouchFlow 3D. They've really gone the extra mile here, even from the previous Touch phone, which was a similar thing. The TouchFlow 3D interface really tries to keep you from having to use Windows Mobile ever, which, if you're not a hardcore smartphone user, you won't have to get into Windows Mobile too much. So you can go to, your call history, your calendar. You can get, to the shortcuts as I showed you. The mail is easy to set up. I have it set up for my Gmail account. It gives you a little preview of your message header sticking out of the envelope there, which is kind of cool. You can start a message by tapping on the icon. Now, I should, to be fair, mention that this phone does come with a stylus. So as much as it is pretty finger friendly, it is also made to be used with a stylus, and you'll get, a little more precise action with the stylus than you will with your finger. I tend to just try to use everything with my finger these days, and you certainly can with the Touch Diamond, but it does work even better with the stylus. But you've also got, your music player here. You've got some widgets. So they've got a weather widget hooked up, so you can check on the weather without having to leave the home screen. You can get to your settings. Really, you can get to just about anything you need to do, unless you're going to really tap the smartphone functionality and add programs, that kind of stuff. There is a program shortcut menu here, so you can customize your shortcuts, your programs from this screen. It has a custom YouTube client,